Mr. Opie has, you are fully aware, has written over 9 books on various subjects, including Britons and the Great Britain's book. He has surpassed his 40th year of auctioneering. He would be the personification of what I would call the saying that says you can never have too many toy soldiers. It's my understanding from a source that will remain nameless that he has over 10,000 toy soldiers. It is also my understanding that he has cataloged over 3 million toy soldiers of every type, variety, and composition in his over 40 years as an auctioneer and a consultant. So without further ado, Mr. James Opie.
By way of introducing myself, on the left of this picture, you can see some, many of you may be familiar with this figure because it was very widespread, at least in this country, and it may well be that you have these sort of things over there with you. This row of figures are similar, but not the actual ones that I had given to me by my grandmother's carpenter when I was aged somewhere between 3 and 4 years old. And they are not widely collected by collectors because they're a bit clunky, usually made out of solid lead, and many of them come unpainted like these ones in the foreground here. But my grandmother did a great paint job on them, rather like this one here. Brown horse, brown base, red rider. And when I was when I went to the loo every morning, as one is supposed to do, I used to sit there on my throne and play with these guys around the edges of my seat. I could reach that. These days I can't do that anymore, but at that time I managed it. This was my first set of Britons. It's the second grade. I started collecting at the low end of what one might collect. And then I went gradually sort of uphill. I managed to get a rare item here. This was my first artillery piece. And as you can see, it's one of the items that was produced about 1948 by Britons, where they burst out into a multicolored assortment, all sorts of colors from lemon yellow to blue, various different shades of blue. I don't think they did a pink one, but never mind. One might turn up yet. And over here, this was my third box of soldiers. This one was contributed by my aunt, and this one was contributed by my other grandfather. Sorry, my other grandmother. And it's a crescent set, quite a large crescent set. And in being given this set, I made a very important decision because I was taken into the wool shop. It was a wool shop with toys on the other side. So while Mum is is buying the wool. I'm looking at the toys. Very clever marketing. And in that shop were two items which took my eye: boxer soldiers and an electric train, an electric version of the London Underground, which I was very keen on at that time. I was about maybe 5 years old by this time. And well, after all this preparation from these sets, I plumped for the toy soldiers, but I could have gone for the railway, in which case that would have been it. I would have launched into a train collection rather than a toy soldier collection. But I'm glad I made the right decision. Now, we're still in metal soldiers at this stage, so we're still about 1952 when I was getting involved in Second World War wargaming. I knew which side my bread was buttered on, so I didn't have any German figures. I just had these hill figures and these crescent figures, and those were the regiments I started out with. I had about 100 of these, maybe 150. And I started wargaming with a friend of mine who lived just up the street. And then suddenly plastics came on the scene. These were 3 old pence in Woolworths with us. And they came unpainted. They're marks, of course, the slightly larger figures that they did. These are not 54 millimeter. They're about 60 millimeter. And they had a big assortment, but I was rather fond of these Tommy gunners, and I used them as my military police in my Megmanian country. These are Megmanian bodyguards. They're obviously British household cavalry, dismounted, and this is the military police half track made by Ideal, and that's a Benbros Land Rover. So that's symptomatic of my young collection. When I was 11 years old, I had 1,100 figures of various sorts, and I won't dwell on my youth anymore. I'm going straight on. Oh, here we are. This is what happened when I really got going with plastic. I had these 3 regiments, the Aussies over there, the paratroops, which were the mainstay of the plastic force, metal vehicles, of course, and the red berets of the paratroops as well. So well provided with paratroops. As I went along, I had a stab at converting plastic figures. I thought that the Timpo Legionnaires looked somewhat like the Indian Mutiny British, and so I painted them up in that sort of fashion and added a few packs and stuff. This is about as good as I ever got with conversions, but I had a lot of fun with these.
Breaking news from Toronto, Canada. Stuart Hesney, longtime editor of the world's premier Toy Soldier magazine, has confirmed that he will be in Toronto on April the 14th to make a public presentation.
On Sunday, April 14th in Toronto, I look forward to sharing some stories about the toy soldier and model figure hobby with fellow enthusiasts. I hope you can join me and the great people of the Ontario Model Soldier Society. All are welcome.
And then I gradually got hooked into the idea that I was going to collect everything from 1893 right through to 1973, which is when I started, as it were, going for broke in the collecting field. Just during my last year at university. This is perhaps my favorite ever set, the Middlesex Yeomanry. I think they're absolutely spectacular. You've got this beautiful throat plume, which the officer is equipped with. He's got a tin sword. This is the second version with the 1900s improved figures. And I don't have anything like this anymore because when I got married for the second time, I had to contribute most of my nice figures to make up the value of the house we bought, my second wife and I. So I couldn't afford anything of this kind of quality anymore. Not to worry. I didn't really miss them. I still had a bunch of toy soldiers. My collection actually got to 65,000 figures around 1980. And through various different divestments and this particular time when we were buying the house in 1987, I got down. The deal was that I had a toy soldier room, which took about 15,000 figures. So I got down to about between a quarter and a fifth of what I once had. Mind you, not all those 65,000 were of this quality. That would have been pretty amazing. It included a lot of wargaming figures, so I'm kind of cheating a bit. Now, this is in my current collection. This is a display of the rocking horse figure, and what I have here, you may have seen some of these pictures because they've appeared in various of my books. So I'm just trying to give you a taster of my particular favorites. And this is an example of the rocking horse figures from Britons. That's a nice Britons one. Not all these figures are Britons. Front row is Britons. These are mostly Heinrich, and then there are some Hanks ones as well. These are straightforward copies by the Hanks brothers, who Britons later took to court. And the Heinrich, of course, are German holocausts done as copies of Britons, or maybe the Britons are done as copies of the German ones. Nobody's really sure. Another picture from one of my books. I've never managed to find out who these Scots Greys figures were made by. Two Britons ones for comparison. These ones obviously look very similar to the Britain's artillery RHA officer, then Britain's made this one, which is even better, but similar, different tail, South African mounted infantry, or the company police, which went on the Jameson raid, was the origin of that figure. Very famous set if you've got the original box with the Jameson title on it. This is another figure using the same horse as the Jameson horse. And this is a special figure. I've always enjoyed having the odd special figure. I had a fair number when I had to divest myself of them, but they brought in, well, probably a quarter of the kitchen, let's say. So that was good news. There are a surprising number of these around. I mean, the collection that they came from is the Poitiers-Smith collection, which had about 40 or 50 in it. I managed to acquire 15 of those